I spent the last 30 days finger training. Ever since I started working here at BPUMP, I focused 100% of my effort on training technique. Lately, a lot of people that watch my videos think I have really strong fingers, but as you'll see on the results of day 1,
oh my god, this is heavier than I thought.
That's far from true. Last month, when I couldn't send a crimpy boulder that I tried over 100 times, it made me think, maybe my fingers are too weak. My climbing skills have drastically improved lately, but could getting just a little bit of finger strength be the key to unlocking huge improvements, maybe even pushing me one step closer to my goal of sending a V10 here at BPUMP, or will I get injured in the process? And stay until the end because I'll share the big secret that almost doubled my gains. This 30-day challenge is sponsored by Frictitious Climbing, but more on that later.
First time training in 3 years. That feels like it hurts my finger. My neighbors are gonna hate me this month. Well, maybe they already do.
While he does that, I want to share with you guys a little bit of my training background. I've been climbing for over 7 years, and my peak was during the pandemic when I was locked in my apartment for 100 days and I trained like a beast to get some pretty incredible results. Since then, I haven't really trained anymore. My theory is, since my movement skills have improved so much lately, just a little bit of finger strength improvement would translate into huge gains in my climbing. The problem is, here in my apartment in Japan, you can't really hang anything up. So my setup for this challenge is the Frictitious portaboard, a loading pin with a carabiner, and some weights.
Okay, that was 100% limit.
My max hang on day 1, 23 kilograms. This kind of makes sense because I shake when I hang on 20 mils. At the end of this month, I have a climbing trip planned. I'm going to Mitake and I want to send my first V9 outdoors. The problem is called Haigyo and I've already given it a few tries before. The crux is a really tight move off a tiny crimp on the left hand, and I always feel like it's going to rip my fingers off. The training routine is going to be simple and effective. Max hands. Getting used to this new training routine after not doing something like this for 3 years was quite a challenge. The first week I was really focused on doing quality sessions, not hurting myself, and at the same time trying to feel the engagement. Because if you look at most of my climbing videos, I'm always using the chisel position. So it puts a ton of load on my middle and ring finger. That's also probably where I can get most gains since those two fingers are so underdeveloped. I'm really happy with the progress so far. The biggest thing is that my fear of crimps is slowly dwindling. In the past, I would always climb open-handed, so it would tear up my skin pretty fast. But lately, I feel kind of confident and I'll really go for the half crimp, and it is keeping my skin much better lately. My warm-up has also become incredibly consistent because even if I go to another gym, I always know I have my portaboard in my bag and I can get my typical warm-up. I might have done it. I was trying a new V7 on the comp wall at BPUMP Tokyo yesterday, and it had 2 really small crimps on the top. Everything was okay, but this morning I woke up with some pain in my pinky. This kind of sucks because tomorrow I have a session at another gym. I'm gonna have to climb everything with just 3 fingers. So today I climbed at a new gym, and even though I didn't use my pinky, I managed to flash a V10. There was another one I was really hyped to getting, and I was really close, but there was just one move that was a little too much. Just in case for my fingers, I stopped, and I was constantly thinking about not getting hurt, fixing my pinky for Haigyo, because after all, the only thing that matters here is getting a little bit stronger and going for that V9 outside. This is some great progress, and all of this is only possible thanks to today's sponsor, Frictitious Climbing. It's a company out of Colorado making some incredible things, and they told me their mission is to make effective training tools that can be used anywhere. And after a month of testing the portaboard, I can tell you guys this is the perfect example of that. I can take it anywhere, And as you'll see by the end of this video, not only did my strength gains improve, but also my climbing. If you want to get your porta board, remember to use the link down below and the code CRISPYCRIMPS10 for 10% off. Thank you Frictitious for sponsoring an up-and-coming channel like mine. So something pretty cool just happened. I just came back from the gym and I was thinking I already want to film this. So if you already saw my video on the road to V10, you already know this, but I got my first Shodan V8 ever since I came back to Japan. So I'm very happy to see my numbers going up in training, and it's also translating to my climbing. So I'm super hype about that. And I think since I focused so much on technique this last year and a half, having that extra little bit of strength makes a world of difference. I'm very hyped to see what happens in the next 2 weeks. I'm very hyped to see what happens in the next 2 weeks. So I was already going back home. I was done with my session when I saw an epic coordination boulder calling my name. But on the last try, I clipped my big toe on the volume. I felt my whole body weight just go through my toe and just bend like this. Luckily, I didn't hear a crack or anything like that. I think it's not broken. So I'm back from the doctor. We did an x-ray and there's a few cracks on my foot. I don't really know how long it's gonna take, but yeah. La cagué, basically. So it's been a few days since the incident, and I've already accepted my situation. That's it. I can't go on the trip. I can't do Haigyo, the V9 I wanted to send. And yeah, it sucks. But I don't know, injuries happen, and I'm gonna keep on training, and I need a new goal. I've been keeping a secret from you guys. Frictitious actually sent me 2 training tools, this guy too. And the crazy thing about this guy is since you can engage your pinky and your index a lot more than just normal boards, I can pull a lot more weight, like a lot more. And I've been actually training with this guy from day 1. And my new goal is I want to be able to pick up my girlfriend. So my girlfriend weighs 43 kilos. I just have 1 week left. I have a broken foot, but this is what I can do. I can just give it all. So if my girlfriend ever gets mad at me, I'll just pick her up and chuck her out the window. During this last week, I put everything I could into this training. My feelings of frustration because of my foot and not being able to go and try Haigyo, I put every single ounce of my energy into making these 10 perfect lifts every single time I would do my routine. And the week went by really fast, and it was day 30. So this is my max weight on day 1. Let's see how hard it feels today. I'm pretty happy. I felt really strong. I was going up the weights. This was 10 kilos extra and I got it. Almost. I went for 35, which would mean over 50% improvement if I got it.
Feels like my fingers are curling open.
But my fingers were just opening up. So just before the final results, I just want to show you guys the proper form that I've been learning throughout this whole experience, because it's fair to say the first day didn't have great form. So we want to keep safe and get strong at the same time. The important thing is to try to have a straight back and have the weight just under you. That way it won't move to the sides and sway too much. And also engage it with a straight arm. We want to try and minimize the amount of spin and movement on the weights. First, pull slowly so that there's some tension in the system. And then when you do the lift off, you can pull a little bit harder. But ideally you want smooth tension throughout the whole thing. That way you don't get a huge shock to your fingers and no one gets hurt. A really important thing for the setup of the board is checking that the angle is straight. If you're pulling on the 20 mils just like I am, check that it's in line.
Okay, 43. Can I pick up my girlfriend? I mean, it's heavy, but it's not that heavy.
And this is where the video was supposed to end. But as you've seen, I didn't really pick up my girlfriend, and it almost felt a little too easy. So I took 2 days off and came back to do the real deal. 1 month of up and downs, getting some huge wins and some big losses. I really wanted to end with a bang. And then we added 10 kilos. And then we added 15 kilos. The balance resulted a little bit too hard. So I went from 23 kilos on the first day to a whopping 33 kilos on day 30. That is 10 kilos extra, and that is a crazy 43.5% improvement. For the Unlevel edge, I went from 37 kilos to 53. That is another 43% improvement. If you want to try this experiment on your own, remember to use the code CRISPYCRIMPS10 to get 10% off your purchase of a Portaboard or the Unlevel edge. And thank you again to Frictitious Climbing for sponsoring this 30-day transformation.